St. John's at Cincinnati. This is Sunday college basketball. Marco, who do you like and why?
I like Cincinnati, and this is simple. This is going to be public perception at its best. Right now, St. John's public perception as high as it could possibly be. They're coming off in their last 3 games, or 4 games, 3 of the games they played UCLA, Duke, and Connecticut. They rolled over Duke, rolled over Connecticut on Thursday night on national TV, and now they're playing a Cincinnati team that right now is at the lowest level. They haven't been playing well, but I think they're undervalued, and if you look deeper at who Cincinnati's been playing, you can understand why they've had this little mini slide.
Okay, so I love value plays. Now, we talked about this yesterday, is you can like a game because of one team or 2 teams. It makes sense, right? You might think one team is super underrated and the other team is you're neutral on, but you still want to play it because it's a super underrated team. Or you can think a team is somewhat underrated against a team that's somewhat overrated, and combined it's about the same level of disagreement that you have in the perceptions of these teams as the public does. So let me ask you this. Usually when a team plays well, there's a reason they're playing well. When a team plays poorly, there's a reason they're playing poorly. The public doesn't always overreact. So let's break it down, St. John's first. Why, in your opinion, is the public Clearly, St. John's is better than you thought they were 2 weeks ago, right? That this performance means something.
Right.
Why? Is there any specifics to why they're overrated?
Well, when I say overrated is that they're at the peak just like a stock. Right now, in the public's eye, in Vegas's eye, they're at the peak.
If they win 5 more games in a row, they're going to be even higher.
Well, they're going to be even higher, but at this point of the season, they're at their peak.
All right. So what I think I hear you saying is just in general, the public overreacts to the short term. So when there's, if the ranking, if the public's perception of St. John's being a really good, or, a good team is based upon the recent performance, just inherently that's going to be an overreaction because they got to take into account what happened prior and they don't enough. Is that right?
Correct. And don't forget, the key point is that those 2 games, the Duke game and the Connecticut game, both of those were nationally televised games. And we've said it all over and over again. People love to bet with.
So the impact of these wins are even more significant because people saw them.
And they were blowouts. Absolutely.
And they look great. And you're saying, hey, that's impressive. Your ranking has gone up for St. John's, but not as much as people who's overreacted to what they've seen in the short term.
Right. And what people don't take into account is teams do have ups and downs. And after big wins like that and on TV, that teams can come up flat, and this is a perfect
think
spot.
about it during the baseball season. There's 162 games. If a bad team wins 4 in a row, no one overreacts. But here, because there's 30 games or 35 games, it seems like the overreaction in the NFL and every other sport but baseball, maybe the NBA. So, let's think about this. Of the 5 major sports, there's 2 that have 82 and 162 games. And then in the NFL, you got 16. College, you've got less than 16. Here, you've got 35. So, in a way, tell me if you agree with this. There's a real value with the fact that because of the so few games, that handicappers typically overreact to short-term streaks in both the NFL and in college basketball and in college football, and thus going against those has inherent value.
Oh, absolutely. And when we look at the Cincinnati side of this game, Cincinnati's sitting at 19-5. Now, they play in the Big East, and obviously, how much I like the Big East and how strong I think that conference is top to bottom. But a team at 19-5, 4 of their 5 losses have come in their last 7 games. So people are looking at the here and now. But when you look at 3 of those 4 losses were at Syracuse, at Notre Dame, and at Pitt.
But did they cover? Did they overperform? Or you can still lose. You lose 1 by 1 at Pitt. People's going to come away thinking better about you.
They got blown out in one of the games, but they played competitively at Pitt, and they played competitively, I believe, at the Notre Dame game. This is a team returning back home that I think the people are going to look at St. John's, because St. John's is playing with revenge in this game. Cincinnati did beat St. John's earlier in the year at St. John's. It was a low-scoring game, 53-51, I believe, was the score. And so people are going to say, St. John's in revenge. They're not going to get beat twice by Cincinnati. St. John's is going to be a dog in this game. people are going to look at them as a live power underdog the way they're playing right now. I project the line to be around 4.5, Cincinnati a favorite, returning home. Keynote, last game for Cincinnati was on the road. They got a narrow win at DePaul, was a big favorite. So people are still going to look at them and say they're underperforming. But the fact that they stopped the losing streak, got the win, coming back home, a TV game on Sunday, it's a 12 o'clock start on Sunday. I like Cincinnati here. I think they win this game by 8. I've got Cincinnati 69-61.
Okay, so you make a point, and this is something you did a video on, is the fact that when you have a week, or I don't know if we've done, I don't think we've done this video yet, when you have a weekend team at home, especially if it's on TV, the home crowd is even more frenzied. So that's a factor pro for Cincinnati here.
Yeah. One other point to throw in on St. John's. St. John's, those big wins that we talked about were all at home. This team struggles on the road. St. John's last 4 road games, all losses, and they've been by a combined 72 points.
Well, that's like 8 points a game, right? Oh, wait. All right, so let me ask you this, because this is a Sunday game and we're taping on Friday, the line's not out yet. What line don't you like this game?
The only way I wouldn't like this game if this line would come out under 2, because it would be, I know again that sounds silly, but it would make it too easy to take the home team. I want to see Cincinnati where they've got to win and cover.
But there's got to be an upper limit. Do you take this game at 8?
It'll never get there, but
so give us your range.
6.
All right, so you're saying from 2.5 to 6, you play Cincinnati.
Yes.
Outside of that range is the pass for you.
Yep.
And that touches again, and we didn't, because this was a value play for you.
Yes.
But it touches again on, even with value, if it looks too easy, if it feels like a trap, you're not getting involved.
Absolutely.
All right, now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're going to be talking about our second and final Sunday college basketball. Oh, wait.
Blessing? You didn't give your neutral?
Oh, that's true. That's a new thing I'm doing. See, until I got to know the line, I'm a value guy. I'm not afraid of traps, actually. I know that I fall into them because of that, but I just think psychologically it's important that they're so rare to me that I've seen the Las Vegas sports consultant guys, doesn't impress me. In general, nice guys, smart guys, but those 6 guys aren't smarter than all the wise guys combined. So, unless there's a line, I'm not going to have. I'll occasionally, I'll call it neutral because I don't have an opinion. I guess that's the easy way to do it.
We're going to call you Mr. Waffles for waffling.
It's going to, no, I don't. That's the last thing I do typically. But what I'm saying here is I'm going to be hard-pressed to have an opinion until I hear the line. Because I got to tell you, if St. John's comes out -7, I love Cincinnati. All right, there you go. And we'll be back with, is this college or pro the next?
The next one is college.
All right, one last college Sunday game.